Hello everyone, welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3 Overexplained. Last time we escaped the strange ship that had taken us prisoner, and we find ourselves here down on this beach among the tentacly wreckage. And around us just fire and debris, but we can move on safely. There is a 100% marker on the side of my screen that does not need to be there, and I'm not sure why it's there, but hopefully that will disappear in time. I'm just going to change a couple of things on this hotbar. I would like all of my cantrips up top, and then my first level spells below. And then from here we can see the contents of our inventory are unchanged. And we can see what this mangled fisher has going on. So fish provides 5 camp supplies. We'll take that and we will talk about camping a little while later on. But just here we can see Shadowheart again, who is currently unconscious. So let's try and talk to her, see if we can wake her up. She has a strange artifact in her hand, but we are not a thief, so we will leave that with her, and instead we will just wake her up.
You're alive. I'm alive. How is this possible?
Doesn't matter. We made it.
I remember the ship. I remember falling. Then nothing.
Do you have any idea where we are?
No. I don't recognize this place. But anything's an improvement on where we just came from. First things first. We need supplies, shelter, and most of all, a healer. We might have escaped, but we still have these little monsters in our heads.
You want to stay together?
We need each other. And we both know what's at stake. Can't think of better company.
Alright then. Let's get moving.
One thing. Just before we go. I wanted to thank you again. For freeing me. It would have been all too easy for you to run right past my pod. But you didn't. I'll remember that. Lead the way.
And so, once again, we have re-recruited Shadowheart to the party. And she still has the Void Bulb and the Caustic Bulb that we collected from inside the helm, which is very nice.
Looking ahead.
So now we can begin our travels, really. Something else I will point out before we get too far away. Here on the main character screen, where you can reach by pressing N on your keyboard, that's N for November. You can see here, just on the bottom of this aisle, you have the current experience, 271. Remaining experience needed to advance, 29. So with a little bit more XP, we will reach level 2, and all of the fun that comes with leveling up. But as we progress, you can see there's things like this barrel here that might contain supplies. A bagel. A chewy roll from the commuters of Greenfields, frequently served with sesame or poppy seeds sprinkled on top.
One day I'll catch a break.
But whilst holding Alt, the barrel was not indicated to us. So Alt does not show you every container every time, just some of the more pertinent ones. Another fish.
Put up a fight by the looks of it. Not that it mattered in the end.
You can see up here there is a backpack.
Fresh water. There must be a settlement nearby.
Now, water is not needed for resting or drinking, but you can use it to throw on surfaces to do things like put out fires or dilute acid and the like. We will leave that perfumed letter.
These boots have seen everything.
And there's more barrels here, and as I said, if you hold Alt, sometimes things will highlight, but barrels and other containers may well not. There's more water. And a Thieves' Tools. Thieves' Tools enable the owner to open locks based on their sleight of hand. Thieves' Tools are destroyed on failed use. So we can collect those, and then if we check our 2 current party members, we can see that our sleight of hand is actually +5 because we have a dexterity of +3 and a proficiency bonus of +2. So if we make a Thieves' Tools check, we get +5 with that.
What am I to do?
And Shadowheart also has proficiency, but only 2 in her plus dex, so she gets to +4. Now, so long as somebody has it in their inventory, anybody will be able to use it, so that's not a problem. I don't need rope for anything. There are some more dead around us. Now here we have discovered an ancient rune circle. So we can click that to pull open the map, and that lets you fast travel to any other location. Now you do not need to be at one of these points to fast travel somewhere else. Now that we've found this place, we can be down the beach like this, and even from such a location as far as this, you can come up to these little wings on the screen here, click fast travel in the top right corner, and then we'll get the world map, and we can either go to our camp, which we will find out about later, or we can return there to the overgrown ruins, back to this rune circle. So as you find more of those, you can teleport freely to any one of them. Although I find that not using them to fast travel between locations does add for some interesting interactions and challenges.
Another step forward.
Here we have an ancient door that appears locked.
That open easily. Maybe there's another entrance.
Now, this particular ancient door doesn't have any HP as an object, but sometimes doors and barriers might, so you might be able to destroy them if they do, but not this one. We can, however, try to lockpick this.
Can't keep me out.
And so the difficulty class is 20, which is very high. We do have +3 from our dexterity and +2 from our proficiency in sleight of hand. And if we look at the other bonuses, we can give ourselves advantage with the Tides of Chaos from our wild magic sorcerer abilities, or we can have Shadowheart offer us 1d4 on our check by using the guidance cantrip. Bestow guidance upon an ally. They receive 1d4 bonus to ability checks, and that lasts for 1 minute. So we can add that and try this check. But a 5, even with all these bonuses, is not going to succeed. So our Thieves' Tools are broken. We are unable to attempt to try that check again. So we will push forwards. Now, just here on the map, we can see some Intellect Devourers ahead. They are currently listed in yellow as non-enemies, but that might well be about to change.
More of those wretched things.
So, they run away from us for now. We can continue to loot the dead around us.
Never wanted the easy path.
And we find another dagger. Now, interestingly, if we go back to Shadowheart...
What's next, I wonder?
Shadowheart has 12 strength and 14 dexterity. So that's +1 on her strength-based weapon attacks, but +2 on her dexterity-based weapon attacks. So here, this mace is a strength-based weapon, so it does 1d6 bludgeoning, +1, because that's her strength modifier, and when she attacks with it, she has +3. That's +2 for proficiency, and +1 for strength. Now, if we go back to Gothic's inventory and send Shadowheart this spare dagger,
Whatever comes, I'm ready.
if we equip that, we can now see that her melee attack is +4 because she has +2 with her dexterity and +2 from her proficiency. So she's actually more likely to hit a target with a dagger than she is with a mace. So we're going to leave her equipped with that for now. So now on the map we can see that those 2 dots that were yellow before have now turned to red, indicating that the creatures near us are foes.
Mustn't let anyone see.
So
Let's move.
we can select each character individually and press C to start crouching. Also basically hiding if you want to use that button instead, but I like to imagine C for crouch. if only one member of the party is hiding and the other is not, even though they are currently chained together, they will not pursue each other as a group. So Shadowheart is hiding and stealthing. She will stay there alone until the hiding status of the party matches. And even then, we have to
Cloak and dagger.
select the other party member. I really thought they were going to join together
As a
in
shadow.
their movement if they were all together during stealthing.
There is work to do. Quiet as a mouse.
That's a friendly looking shadow.
Right, now we're stealthing together. Yes, so once we are starting together in the same location while both stealthing, we will stealth together as we move around, but if you only have one person stealthing, they will move away independently so that you don't have one person start stealthing, moving to where an enemy might see them, and you have your friends behind you just casually walking along without trying to hide, blowing your cover. So we've got some enemies over there, so we're going to climb up here to get to the high ground, because if we attack an enemy on lower ground than us with an attack roll, we will get +2 to that attack roll for being on high ground. And right now,
I'm ready.
do we have a spare short bow? We do. We can hand that to Shadowheart as well.
Secrecy above.
We can equip that in her bow and arrow slot. And that gives us the ranged attack option here for 1d6 +2. That's 1d6 for the bow's weapon damage, +2 for our dexterity modifier. When you're rolling for damage, you do not add your proficiency bonus to damage rolls unless something very specifically tells you to. So we're going to attack this creature here. We have advantage because we are an unseen attacker attacking a foe, and we have +2 from being on high ground. So it says 100% there. That means that our roll and our bonuses are guaranteed to cause an attack to hit, unless, of course, we roll a pair of natural ones. Because we're attacking with advantage, we roll 2 d20s and use the higher number. But a natural 1 is always a failure on an attack, so if we rolled a pair of natural 1s right now, we would miss. So we hit for 3 damage, and the foes now have the surprised condition, so they are unable to take actions or reactions. And Gothic, who is still hiding, has not been perceived and is not in the initiative yet. So theoretically, he could go off and have tons and tons of adventures all on his own, while Shadowheart is locked into this 6-second period. But I do try and kind of keep the combat contained with the group together. So we will now attack with our Firebolt. And just like before, we are an unseen attacker, and we have high ground, so we're rolling 2d20 and using the higher, and we get +2 to our attack roll. Unfortunately, on the d10 for damage that we rolled, we only rolled a 1. Now, because Gothic came into the initiative after the standard initiative was rolled initially, he will not get a go this time. We have to wait for the new round to start. So, Shadowheart, however, as the instigating attacker, does get to go in that first orbit. So we will attack, we will end our turn. This one will lose the surprise condition, and then we're back to the top. So this creature is dashing, so they've used their action to move twice their movement speed to get closer to us. And typically that means that on this occasion they won't be attacking us, because dashing is an action. It means they don't have an action to attack us with. But we are going to simply attack here with our bow and arrow again. And that creature is now out of hit points. It has died. I'll move over away from that ledge, so that if this creature were to get near that ledge, we would not be stood next to it. So from up here, we still get the +2 high ground bonus. We do 4 damage, and we will move slightly further away from that staircase. And we have a third Intellect Devourer joining the fight. It too is dashing, trying to catch up with the staircase that we have put ourselves at the top of for our own safety. And we can keep moving away so that they aren't able to get to us when they get to the top, forcing them to continue dashing and not attacking us, even if they get toe-to-toe like they are now. So now that we are so close, you can see if I move my movement away from the creature, this arrow appears next to them. This indicates that if I try and move away from a creature that I am currently engaged with, it will take an attack of opportunity against me, using a standard attack action to try and attack me. Now, there's a few ways that we can prevent this from happening. It only ever gets one reaction in a turn. So if Gothic Lord ran past and it took an attack of opportunity, before its next turn comes around, if Shadowheart then runs past, it won't get to take a second attack of opportunity because each creature only gets one reaction as standard. The other thing that we could do is here there is the disengage action. Focus on retreating safely. Moving will not provoke opportunity attacks. So if we did want to get away for some reason, we could do so. Also, now that we are engaged with this creature because they are so close to us, if we were to try and attack them with a ranged attack whilst being so close, you can see that it says there, target is too close, so we would be attacking with disadvantage. If you can imagine trying to pull a bow and arrow or something against somebody who has stood 3 feet in front of you, it's going to be much harder to navigate that ranged attack against somebody who's threatening you right up in your face rather than being 20 or 30 feet away. So instead of trying to attack with a ranged attack roll, what we can do instead is induce a saving throw. Now, you won't be penalized for trying to induce a saving throw regardless of the distance you are from the target. So this means we get the same result. Unfortunately, they made their saving throw. Now, this little one is also going to join the party. So Shadowheart is currently not close enough to be threatened by an attack of opportunity. So what we can do is we can move away, and we can see these two creatures, while they are exactly the same, we can highlight their portraits in the top left corner if we are having trouble distinguishing one from the other. So we can see the one with 1 HP here is closer to us on the bottom of the screen, and we know that creature is going to go before Gothic. So that's our preference, our priority of a target. So we're going to try and attack that one for 1 damage. We succeed, and now Gothic is far enough away from this creature that we can move away safely.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
And then take our attack roll. It did not take a turn for some reason, and I'm not entirely sure why. But it's because we're now on the same initiative because we killed the creature that was in the gap between us on the initiative. So Shadowheart actually gets another chance to use her bonus action if she wants it, but we don't. We get a claw attack to the face for 5 damage, but then we can attack with our dagger.
You fight well. Perhaps our survival isn't such a distant prospect.
And with that, we have gained enough XP to gain a level up. So what I will do is we will just loot the area around us a little, and then next episode we will start with a level up, focusing on how that works as its own event. So these intellect devourers, just being brains that have been born recently, do not have anything of value on them.
Onward.
But there is an abducted nobleman there. Some gold, some cheese, a silver locket, 0.1 pounds but worth 40 gold, and a rapier. A rapier is a martial melee weapon. It does 1d8 piercing damage, and it is a finesse weapon. So if you are proficient in rapiers or martial weapons, you can use this weapon as a dexterity attack weapon, but it does 1d8 piercing instead of 1d4 piercing. Unfortunately, I don't think either of our heroes are proficient with this particular weapon. I will check though. Yeah, so Shadowheart, not proficient in martial weapons or rapiers, and I know for a fact that sorcerers are also not proficient in basically any weapon. There is a cartilaginous chest up here with some basic poison. Coats your weapon with a poison that inflicts an additional 1d4 poison damage for 3 rounds. So that can be applied as a bonus action before attacking with a weapon, and it will attach to a blade or 3 pieces of ammunition for a ranged weapon. Potion of healing for 2d4 plus 2 hit points. A skull I don't really feel any particular need to collect. And then we have a spiked bulb and a void bulb, which are tools we will utilize later in combat sometime.
Need to keep going.
And then from here, we can either go explore the beach in that direction, or come up through here, through this passage, or we can move... no, there is... I've got disoriented. I thought there was another path up, but I think I'm just counting this path twice in my head. So, with that done, we'll move just down the beach a little bit more, and then save things there, before next time meeting some more companions and leveling up for the first time. There's another set of thieves' tools. Some gold and some sausage.
Alright,
And
what now?
this trunk is locked, but we can now use our new lockpick to try and get that open. It's only a difficulty class of 5, and so we have a +3 and a +2 for 5. So as long as we do not roll a 1, which is always a failure, then we will succeed. This is different than tabletop Dungeons & Dragons, where skill checks can't have natural 1s and natural 20s as automatic failures and automatic successes, respectively. If you were, say, a bard with expertise, or a rogue with expertise in something, you might roll a 1 but have a +11 and still pass a DC 10 check. Whereas here, a 1 is always a failure, at least in this current version of Early Access. But a 9 plus our other modifiers gets us into this locked container, and our thieves' tools are not broken in doing that. There's 12 gold, and there is a leather helmet. Layers of leather were boiled and moulded to create the rugged cap. It still smells a bit of tannins. So this is light armor, which our sorcerer is not proficient with, but the wearer gains dexterity saving throws +1. So we can give that to Shadowheart. And so your choices for doing this is either you can right-click something and send it to that person, or you can simply drag it across to that other person's inventory.
What's next?
Then if we click Shadowheart's profile picture and come to her character sheet, we can see she's currently just wearing an elegant circlet that is not a magical item, so it's just for decoration. And if we remove that and look at Shadowheart's dexterity saving throws, can I see all of her saves? Apparently, I cannot see everyone's saves in full. Interesting, that doesn't appear to be anywhere on the character sheet. But I assure you, if we put the cap on, our dexterity throws are now increased by 1. If you think the cap is ugly and you'd rather see Shadowheart's haircut, you can toggle this little button here in the corner, and it will either show no helmet, the helmet all the time, or only take it off during conversations, I think that is, or never show it, even though she is technically wearing it for the stats. Alright, that's going to be everything for today. Join me tomorrow where we will level up for the first time and hopefully try and recruit some more members to our party. If you have any questions or comments about anything that you've seen, or if anything isn't clear, you can put those down in the comments section below. Otherwise, if you have any other questions or comments, you can ask them as well. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider liking or subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.